Navy SEALs and sailors who refuse to get the COVID vaccine will have their records expunged.
Yeah, this is big news. And Fox 5 legal expert Wendy Patrick is here to share what this legal settlement means. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning.
So this topic really affects a lot of people across the country, including just about 2,000 sailors, if not a few more, and I'm sure a few of them living here in San Diego. Can you break down how this all came about, determined, and how this settlement actually is going to break down?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a real victory. It's been years in the making. I mean, I remember like it was yesterday. I wasn't here. We were remote back then. But when this first started, there was this, idea that, well, we're not going to accommodate any exceptions, whether it's for medical, whether it's for religious. And then there were some medical exceptions and exemptions that you had to have. But then this religious exemption, the argument simply was, we're not going to honor it. And that's basically what happened. And so there was what we call an administrative separation, which looks bad on your record. And so what this lawsuit basically came down last Thursday, was a settlement where the military basically said, we're going to erase any record of you having been administratively separated if you were denied an exemption based on religious grounds. They've been long arguing, I have a First Amendment right to exercise my religion, and if it forbids me from taking the vaccine, that should be something that's recognized. And finally, 3 years later, that's where we are.
You know, it's interesting, like you said, you can remember this like it was yesterday. The mandate actually from the U.S. military came down August 24th from Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. And it was November of the same year when the SEALs finally, they filed the lawsuit. And then come March, like you said, it's a few thousand sailors now. And so the key issue you're saying is the First Amendment violation.
Well, the First Amendment violation, remember the freedom of religion has been in a little bit of a different category than, for example, all of the people that claimed a medical exemption from needing to take the vaccine. There were a variety of medical exemptions that were honored. In fact, that was probably far more honored than were the religious exemptions. And the reasons for that weren't clear legally when you look at, well, if you're going to say basically you can't take one for medical reasons, why then are we having so much pushback? One of the things that makes this settlement most significant is not just did they say we're going to go through the records and make sure there's no record of that separation. They're also mandating religious training. They're posting on their website a statement that says we respect the religious preferences of our members. However, I do have to say, arguing both sides of this, it could have gone further. It could have done things like address the issue of damages or back pay instead of simply looking forward and saying, well, looking forward, we're not going to have any record of you having been separated and we're not going to harm future promotions. But what about the damage that's been done during the period of time that these members were separated? Now, that's still something that is potentially on the table, but it's not addressed in this particular settlement.
I was going to say, wait, watch, see. We will definitely see that.
That's
and not only the Navy. We're talking about just one branch of the military. Here in San Diego, I'm sure it affects every branch of the military that exists, but how does that get started then? Are we going to see the trickle-down effect?
I'm glad you brought that up, because what this settlement does is it potentially gives a blueprint moving forward for other agencies, for other branches, because remember, it wasn't just, in the Navy. There are lots of people, brave men and women all over the nation that don that uniform and want to fight for their country, but claimed a religious exemption and were denied. And so you look at this type of a settlement, you look at how it was structured, and absolutely there may be hope yet for people in other branches that also had to be separated for the exact same reasons. And there's no legal rationale why that shouldn't translate, although I'm sure there'll be, potentially some pushback. But yes, why wouldn't we then see that type of litigation in order to not jeopardize the promotional opportunities for people that work in different branches?
Well, you talk about the different branches of the military, but now I'm wondering, is this going to then pave the way for other workspaces? You saw even medical employees and every field. You think about where they were mandating the COVID vaccine, and many people were using their First Amendment rights and saying, I would like a religious exemption. We're not honored. And so how does this pave that way? Will we see more settlements in the future?
I'm going to say yes, both legally and practically. Legally, because obviously the First Amendment is still around and it is still being honored, or should be being honored and weighed in the balance. Practically, the balance has shifted. Remember that when these mandates came into effect, we were in a very different position than we are today. I don't just mean herd immunity. I mean a very different position understanding the risks and the effectiveness of the vaccine. Remember back in 2020, everybody thought, oh, I'm going to get vaccinated, I won't get COVID. Well, everybody got COVID anyway. So we're in a little bit of a different position in terms of looking at that balance and what it looks like. Perhaps now there's more of a tolerance for, considering that a religious exemption not only is valid constitutionally, but also may be more practical than it was back in the day. And that is one of the reasons that I do think we're not only going to see more lawsuits, but maybe even more settlements without litigation. Not to say you shouldn't keep people in my profession in business, but that may not be necessary here where there may be more broad agreement.
Yeah, and I think this is just the beginning. I know we could talk about this forever. But to wrap it up, for those who left the military because of this mandate, what happens to them now?
Well, remember that they left the military. They always were invited to come back if they got vaccinated. Now that's no longer necessary. It'll be up to them to work and see if maybe that can't be accomplished. And I don't know in the future whether or not there will be that lawsuit for back pay, for damages, for all of the lost opportunities. I mean, we're talking years. And sometimes those may have been the best years of somebody's life. They're in their prime. They're doing what they always wanted to do. And now, because of their sincerely held religious beliefs, they're behind their peers a couple of years. No doubt those are the types of things that are going to be taken up in the future.
And talk about the families too and the livelihoods that were disrupted because of this. Oh, Wendy, we have so much more we could have so much more to talk about.
We'll talk about it again. We'll talk about it again.
Start a podcast.
Yeah. Thank you, Wendy.